Have you ever stopped to think about how many people might be leaving your website? Not because they don't want what you offer, but because using your site is harder than it should be. There's a stat that really sticks with me. There was a survey done in the United Kingdom that found that 69% of internet users with disabilities will leave a website if it's not accessible. That's a huge number. But this doesn't only affect people with disabilities. The same issues that cause accessibility problems, unclear navigation, hard to read text, confusing layouts, are the exact same things that frustrate any visitor and make them click away. For small and mid-sized businesses, that's not just a tech issue, that's lost opportunity. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to make your website and documents digitally accessible without making it complicated or overwhelming. Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Kinnett, CEO and founder of Iternal Networks. And here at Iternal Networks, we believe in empowering businesses and individuals with the knowledge that they need to succeed. So every Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, I go live on all of our socials to discuss different technology and cybersecurity topics to help empower others. At Iternal Networks, we are dedicated to creating safe and secure environments for businesses and people to do what they love and to thrive in doing it. And helping to educate others on technology and cybersecurity is a key part of our mission. At the end of the live stream today, I'll make sure to have time to answer questions from the audience. So if you have any, throw them in at any point in time in the comments, and I will cover those at the end. With that being said, let's get on to today's topic. When we talk about accessibility, the first thing that I want you to understand is that just because a website works for you doesn't mean it works for everyone. A lot of business owners assume that their site is intuitive because they can navigate it without thinking. But the reality is people interact with websites in very different ways. Some folks don't use a mouse at all. Some rely entirely on a keyboard. Others use screen readers that read content out loud or voice commands to move around a page. One simple way to start recognizing this is to try using your own website without a mouse, just your keyboard. If you can't easily move through menus, buttons, or forms, that's a good sign that there might be friction for some users. Until you actually see someone use assistive technology on your site, it's really easy to overlook and miss where the issues are. And when you do see it, what's interesting is that the fixes are often small, clear labels, a logical layout, making sure things are structured in a way that tools can understand them. Those small changes can completely change the experience for someone. One of the biggest areas where accessibility gets overlooked is visual design. We tend to focus more on how a site looks instead of how clearly it communicates. A quick gut check here is this. If you turn your screen brightness down or step back from your monitor, can you still easily read the text on your site? If the answer is no, there's probably a contrast issue. Text needs to stand out from the background, and that matters, especially for people with low vision, color blindness, or aging eyes. And honestly, it helps everyone. Accessibility here isn't about making things boring. It's about making sure that your message actually gets through the first time, because chances are you're not going to get a second chance. Documents are another area where businesses often run into trouble. And this one surprises a lot of people. PDFs, Word documents, and presentations, a lot of these are inaccessible by default. A simple thing to look for is structure. Are you using real headings, or are you just using bold text to make something look like a heading? Are images just decorative, or do they communicate something important that needs a description? If a document isn't structured properly, screen readers can't make sense of it. Content gets read in the wrong order. Images get skipped entirely. From the user's perspective, it's frustrating and sometimes impossible to use. The good news, though, is that most modern tools already have accessibility features built in. They just need to be used intentionally as you're working on building your site or your documents. Another part of accessibility that often gets overlooked is how easy your content is to read and process. A good test here is to ask yourself, how quickly can someone scan your page and understand what it's about? Short paragraphs, clear sections, and straightforward language make a huge difference. Using plain language isn't about dumbing things down. It's about being clear. It helps people with cognitive disabilities, but it also helps busy professionals who are skimming your site between meetings. Fonts matter too. If your content relies heavily on all caps, italics, or stylized fonts, that's often a sign that readability could be improved. Accessibility also includes people with hearing or mobility challenges, and this is where video and interaction design come into play. For video content, a simple rule of thumb is this: if someone watches your video with the sound off, would they still understand what's going on? Captions and transcripts make that possible, and they're easier to add than most people think. On the mobility side, keyboard testing is one of the easiest ways to spot issues. If you can't tab through your site on a logical order, or if buttons are hard to reach without precise mouse movements, those are real barriers that can usually be fixed with small adjustments. Accessibility isn't really just a one-time project. It's an ongoing process. Each time you update your site or add new content, it's important to test to make sure that everything remains accessible. Encourage visitors to provide feedback if they encounter any issues, and consider including an accessibility statement on your site to show your commitment and to provide contact information for our support. Accessibility gap insights can also be provided by analytics tools. When you notice users abandoning pages or forms, it's usually an indication of an accessibility or usability problem. For small business, accessibility can seem like another item that's on an already long to-do list, right? But it's a smart investment in your reputation and in your customer relationships. When your website and your documents are accessible, you're showing your audience that your business is thoughtful, inclusive, and professional. You're also protecting yourself from potential legal risks, as accessibility standards like the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, apply to many websites as well. The good news is that beauty and accessibility can go hand in hand. You can have a modern, visually striking website that's also accessible by thoughtfully choosing colors, design elements, and language that welcomes everyone. If you're listening to this and thinking, I'm not even sure where my website or documents stand, you're not alone. Most business owners that I talk to know that accessibility matters, but aren't really sure what applies to them or where to start. While we don't design websites here at Eternal Networks, we do help business owners understand the technology, security, and usability risks tied to their digital presence. And we can help you to ask the right questions, identify common red flags, and, when it makes sense, connect you with trusted web professionals who specialize in accessibility and inclusive designs. If you'd like to walk through what that means for your business, I'd be happy to have that conversation. No sales pitch, just a conversation to gain some clarity and direction. You'll find links to reach out and connect, as well as links to the full transcript in the chat and in the video description below. That being said, that's our topic for the day. Let me see if there's any comments from our live audience. I don't see any comments today or questions today. So we'll move on here and wrap things up. Thanks for joining today, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this later on. If you found this information helpful, please let us know by giving us a thumbs up, a smiley face, something, right? Leave a comment with any questions or thoughts that you might have. Your feedback helps us to create more content that's valuable to you, which is why we do this. Also, don't forget you can subscribe to our channel, hit that notification, that bell icon, so that you don't miss any updates. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to help you to navigate the world of technology and cybersecurity. If you need any further assistance or have any questions, you can always send me a direct message, or you can reach out to our organization. All of our contact information is on our website at itnet.works. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.